Hello guys, over the last few weeks we've been exploring a couple of rinks in Montreal, aiming to find the best ones, the most exciting ones, the most quality ones, and we really know our stuff. So in this video we're going to go over a few of our top rinks in Montreal so that you don't have to go to the bad ones.
We are very subjective fellows, so you may be wondering how we are going to fairly rank our rinks. We do have a detailed chart behind us where both Alexi and I will give our individual scores, me in red, him in blue, of all the qualities of the rinks we visited, including ice quality, accessibility, cold exposure, crowds, and obviously the overall vibes.
I'm very sure we're going to agree on absolutely everything.
Absolutely, for all 5 rinks.
So stick around if you want to find out where you could be skating next year.
So over the brutally harsh winter of Montreal, we had a chance to visit 5 rinks, and the first one we started off with is a community favorite, Place des Arts.
Place des Arts is located in the Place des Spectacles in Montreal, and it is special on this rink because, I guess it isn't, but it is like piped, so it doesn't rely on it being cold outside. It opens around like 6-7 degrees outside.
My kind of temperature. Anyway, so for the ice quality, it's a city rink that gets zambonied all the time. I actually quite like it, so I'm going to start off generous, giving it a 5. By the way, our scores are out of 5, so it is a 5 out of 5.
I would give it the same thing. The ice is always good. It gets a little rough. Actually, I'm giving it a 4. Because most of the time, even though it gets zambonied, so many people have been there that it's like all messed up.
Accessibility, again a 5 for me. Right in downtown, especially for us students, it's just a 10-minute walk away from most of mine and I know our friends' apartments.
I hate saying it, but I agree with you.
Makes me happy. Cold exposure. So this category is basically, obviously, how cold it is, but not just in terms of wind and temperature, but also where if you have places to put your skates on in a warm place and a place to warm up. Once again, a 5. I don't know why I'm giving such high scores right off the bat.
In my experience, have found that it's very windy, and although there is a place to take off your skates and stuff, it's almost always so crowded that you have to fight for a seat. So for me, that's going to be a 3.
Crowds. Now I remember why Place des Arts is usually not my favorite rink, because there's a lot of losers who can't skate, including some of our friends who act as pylons.
Shout out Yanis.
1.
I'm going to go 2 just so I'm not agreeing with you, but I would give it a 0 if I could.
Overall vibes, it's in the city, it's fun, you can go with your friends, it's close, there's cool music going on. But, my favorite thing about skating is the skating, and when I get slowed down, I have to dock some points. So I'm going to give it a 2.
I think given it's so close and so easy, it can't be a 2, so I'll give it a 3. So that brings our final totals to 18 for you. I'm helping him with the math because he can't do that. And then for
That's
me,
correct.
17.
And the total scores, just to keep in mind, for those of you who can't add up 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5.
You mean times 5?
Is 25. We will average these out later.
So the next rink we visited was Parc Maisonneuve. This one is in the Olympic Park, sort of the big park where the marathon finishes and a lot of other big events happen. There's also the botanical gardens there. It's located a little way out on the Green Line, but we'll get to that. So first, to begin with, ice quality. At least when we were there, it hadn't been plowed. We basically couldn't even find the ice because there was snow on it. It was a little scary to skate on it. So frankly, I think I'll give it a, maybe just also compared to the other ices here, I'll give it a 2.
2 as well. I suppose I didn't enjoy it, as you can see in some of the clips we had. I didn't enjoy finding the rink particularly.
And then accessibility, keep it nice and sweet. It's 1. You have to take the metro. If you don't live near there, it's probably like at best 30 minutes.
Not just the metro. You have to walk about 10 minutes up a large toboggan hill in inches of snow with wind blowing in your face. It's a brutal experience. 1.
You just can't help but agree with me. Anyways, next, cold exposure. This is one of the rinks that doesn't have anywhere to take off your skates or anything. We were actually changing on a bench. You'll see some beautiful videos of Rishi struggling to tie his skates with his cold little hands. So I guess, but it wasn't too windy. I liked it, but I can't give it a good score.
Another one.
Oof. Okay, now moving on to crowds. When we were there, nobody else was there, but I got the impression it's really wide. It's a large loop that if it was very crowded, you'd still be okay. It might be fun. So I'm actually going to give it a 5 on crowds. Don't think you can get better.
I've also read some reviews that it's more of a local type of rink, so only really locals know about it. So I'd also give it a 5 under the impression that I don't really think it gets that crowded.
Okay, last and not least, the vibes. There was something about skating on like a rink overlooking the Olympic Stadium that was really, really cool. I think it's unmatched. You're going out far. You're in a nice park. Giving it a 5.
I also agree on the fact that the Olympic Stadium does give a nice backdrop, and you're just skating and able to do whatever you want there since it's so empty. But when I think about other rinks as well and just how spectacular some can be, I'm going to have to give this a 4.
You know what? As he was talking, I agree.
Wow, he even changed his mind to agree with me. That's saying a lot.
Okay, so when we total up the points, I have 12.
I have 13. I thought you were going to beat me for this. Okay, the next rink is one that
Oh, wait, yeah, 14.
Oh, he can't do math. He can't do math. Engineer. See?
Yes.
So, Parc Jean-Dreapeau was our next rink, and this one I was really excited to go to because it was, on the island off the coast of Montreal. Ice quality. So they do the loop itself. They do maintain for about an hour a day. It is pretty good. It is still a loop, like a very thin loop that has a lot of exposure to wind and stuff. So overall, I'd give it a 4.
Yeah, I agree. I think the ice was good, even better than Place des Arts. We gave that 5 and 4. The only issue is that it's like a thin path of ice, so you're likely to like fall off. So if we're encountering, the whole skating experience in ice quality, I might give it a 3.
Accessibility. So this one, once again, you do have to take a metro. It is on an island, but it still has a metro, which is good. It's, if anyone knows where the F1 race happens, it's there.
Can we go to the casino?
I said no. Oh. Well, I never said no, but no.
Then it's about a 2-minute walk from the metro, and you don't have to walk up a giant hill. And yeah, so I'd rank it higher than Parc Maisonneuve, but it still is on an island, so I'd give it a 3.
I think getting there is easy, but it takes a long time. Like, not only do you have to walk from the metro, you have to switch metros. So it's not on like a green line or the orange line. So I'm going to go ahead, and if we gave Maisonneuve a 1, then I think this one deserves a 1 as well.
Harsh. Cold exposure. So Jean-Dreapeau does have a nice place to warm up and change your skates. They also have, like a cafe and eatery there. Keep in mind you are on the river, so you do have extreme winds sometimes, but yeah, so from the weather it's not the best, but from all the amenities it is really good, so I'd average it out at, again, a 3.
I think the amenities here were quite nice. There was like between the rink and the chalet, there's a nice like path. There are nice food trucks. You can get hot chocolate, hot dogs, food. The crowds are manageable, which we'll get to. I honestly would give it a 4. I had no complaints, and it wasn't as windy as I expected.
Keep in mind that for crowds, Jean-Dreapeau is quite, a touristy thing to do. So you do have, once again, like Place des Arts, a lot of inexperienced skaters, and it is a very thin loop, so it's quite difficult to make your way around all these pylons, as I like to call them. But it isn't as crowded as Place des Arts, and it still is nice to get away from the city and everything. So I think I'd still give it a 3 because I still enjoyed it more than the speeds I could get to at Place des Arts.
This is a tough one. When you're comparing it to the other rinks, I would really give it a 1 because, especially on a weekend, you can't get by anybody. But I guess I'll be nice. I'll go 3.
Oh, 3. Wow. I convinced him yet again. Overall vibes, I think being on the river with the beautiful views and just being able to, grab a hot chocolate there and skate on a cool trail in between the trees with music going and all that, I think I really do have to give this one a 5.
As much as I do think it's very cool, I think the crowds kind of detract from the experience. I think if you were there by yourself, it would be amazing. But I'm gonna maybe a bit controversial. I think I'm going 2.
Wow. I didn't know you hated your time there that much.
I don't think so, but I just think it's not the skating experience I would aim for.
Anyway,
Low-key, you could fall off and it's doing hurt, and there's no wall. And for people who are challenged with turns, like your knees might be a little difficult and not so fun.
Anyway, so I get up to 18 points for this one.
And I'm on 13. My lowest so far.
Okay, the next rink on our list is Parc Lafontaine,
Lafontaine,
as Alexi likes to correct me all the time. Unfortunately, I had to go without Alexi. Unfortunately, Alexi damaged his arm, which we will talk about a bit later. So the review mainly comes down to me. So overall ice quality, keep in mind, Parc Lafontaine is deep in the plateau and is on a man-made lake. So it's a huge, vast lake, and it's basically, that means it's natural ice. So overall, I was really impressed that the ice was so smooth considering it was natural, but since it is natural, it means the ice is slower, so I'd have to give it a 4. Just because it slows down wannabe speed skaters like myself.
I go 3 because I would never skate it there.
Accessibility, it's right in the plateau where everyone lives. Not everyone, but quite a few people, and everyone can really walk there. It's about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from our apartment, so it's pretty good. Keep in mind you do have to walk down some hills to get into the lake basin, but overall it's pretty good, so I'd have to give it another 4.
I would have to agree. It's close to everything. Yeah, it's on the plateau. Most people live there.
In terms of cold exposure, I didn't really use an indoor area. I didn't know if there was one. Is there?
There is, yeah. There's a chalet that you can go inside. Same as the other ones, basically. We've never been, but I can assume it's...
Well, I didn't use it because Yanis made me put my skates on in the cold because he said I'm not weak. Anyway, you also remember, as I mentioned, in a sort of like basin, so there's not much wind. So I'd have to give it another 4. It's really tolerable.
Agree.
Look at him agreeing. Crowds. This is a local's favorite. So all the locals in the area come to skate at Fontaine because obviously it's just such a beautiful place, but that does mean it's crowded. However, since it is on such a large man-made lake, it's so wide, I'd say the crowds don't really impact your experience there just because, the premises is so wide. So I'd have to give it a 4. And then overall vibes, Alexi, you can speak on that.
So, Parc Lafontaine is an amazing place. There in the summer, biking, walking, running, anything we can sit on the grass we love to do. I think it's just a beautiful spot. The rink is something about hockey rinks, something about skating on an actual lake. I would give this 5 on vibes, but I never actually skated there, so I'll have to keep it as a 4 till next year.
Yep, I agree with everything Alexi said. There's nearby hockey rinks as well. The park is just so amazing, and I love the Plateau neighborhood, and it's just quintessential Montreal. So I'd give this a 5. That totals my score at 21.
Wow. So our last and final rink is the McGill Iron Rink. This is a rink located on McGill's downtown campus that is fully funded and managed by your one and only engineering students. We do this for everybody because we are kind and beautiful people.
And stinky. Very stinky.
Anyways,
Remember,
we're kind.
Stinky.
So, this rink is accessible to all McGill students, close, and really a great student thing. So, we're going to start off with ice quality. Grounds doesn't resurface it all the time. They're a bit hard to deal with. And honestly, I've seen cracks. Don't expect to go there and not have to shovel. I'm going to go 2.
With the few times I skated there, I really liked the ice. It's quite smooth, but as Alexi said, it doesn't have professional maintenance done, so it's hit or miss, especially depending on the weather. Especially if it's warmer outside, then you just can't even think about skating on the rink. The ice has also treated Alexi badly. That is where he in fact fell and destroyed his arm, and that's what ruined him.
I did not fall.
He got crashed into and he hit his arm on the ice, and the ice did this. Okay, whatever. The story will get clarified if you want to ask him in the comments. So I'll give this a 3 because an extra point for hurting Alexi.
Cheers. Anyways, accessibility. It is literally in our downtown campus. We can go in between class. We're here all the time. We could go before Blues, after Blues. Name it. 5.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. 5.
Next, cold exposure. It is not, there is no kiosk, no little chalet. You are near the campus buildings, but like it's all pavement. You'd have to sort of like walk with your skates. So you are putting on your skates and taking off your skates outside. I've never been there and not frozen my ass off. So I'm going to go on a 2 on this one.
Yep, it's a lot for my little fingers to handle, except luckily we don't have to walk up a giant hill like in Parc Maisonneuve, so I'm going to give it a 2 as well.
All right, now crowds. It is a bit of a small rink. It's a 3-on-3 hockey rink, but I've never been there and it's been like too many people. If anything, it's nice that there are people, there are students, people you can talk to, everybody's very friendly, and there's usually a bunch of engineers, so that's a definite plus. So we'll go 5 on that. And then I'm also usually there, so the crowds are great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. If you're not an engineer, you might be deterred from his statement. Also keep in mind, if you aren't there to play a game of shinny, or you just want to practice skating by yourself, or want space to skate with just your friend, then you might not want to engage with other people, and it is a small rink overall. I'd have to go to score of 3 for the crowds.
So finally, vibes. I think if I have given none of these a 5, or I had to pick just one, it would be this one. It is McGill. It's ours. It's like one of the cool things that we do. So, and you're skating, you're seeing the beautiful McGill. They have great lights. Perfect. 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5.
It is pretty epic to be skating at McGill, but from a skater's perspective, especially if you're not a McGillian, and you just want to try like super cool rinks like on a frozen lake, or skating on a loop, then I'd have to dock some points there for the Iron Rink and give our McGill rink a score of 3.
Now it's time for math with Rishi. He's gonna do averages. Da 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 da. Da, da, da. Ooh, now this one's hard. Ooh, 15.5.
Yeah, I did the decimal.
Okay.
A few moments later.
He's in arts, everybody. Give him a sec.
Who's the one who couldn't add up your initial scores?
I don't remember that. Anyways, these are our final scorings. We're going to discuss these in just a second. We do have a clear winner, but I think there are some important takeaways.
I'm not sure there's much to discuss other than the winner, our beautiful friend.
The one rink that I did not skate on.
I'm a bit sad that this beautiful rink didn't score higher. Okay guys, we just have, some final thoughts. One thing that some people, I think, might be wondering is why we didn't cover Old Port, which is one of Montreal's most famous rinks. We were doing a compilation of rinks that were free and entirely free to everyone because, some of us are students and some of us pretend to be broke at least and not want to pay $7 for skating, so that's why we didn't cover that.
It's also the principle of paying to skate in Canada. I don't know. There's so much ice everywhere. Anyways, you guys saw our rankings. I think it's clear that Parc Lafontaine is the overall winner. But I think there are some important conclusions that we can draw. And I think the first of all is, no matter where you go in Montreal to skate, I think the vibes will be quite good.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy yourself.
You're gonna enjoy yourself, unless you go to Jean-Dreapeau, apparently, according to me.
I don't think you actually mean that.
I think it was just a little crowded. My recommendation would be go on a weekend. Not on a weekend, go on a weekday if you can. And I think at night with the lights, the vibes are probably good.
To help narrow down your choices if you do want, if you're a beginner skater and just want to, test your skills out in a quick downtown setting, we choose Place des Arts. That would be perfect for that. Parc Maisonneuve, you know, it had a lot of downsides, but it is really wide and peaceful.
If you're looking for a very unique Montreal skating experience, that's the rink for you.
Yeah, it's just also just very quiet and empty. It's very nice that way. Parc Jean-Dreapeau, being on an island with a view as well as being a skating trail, is really cool. So if you want a unique experience where you're skating between trees and all that kind of stuff, that's the place for you.
But beware the crowds.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lafontaine, that's just the overall best experience. If you're looking for a combined experience of a chalet, natural ice, decent ice quality, manageable crowds.
Experiencing time with Montreal locals, that's a pretty sick place to go.
Just don't dislocate your shoulder before you go, because then you can't go.
Yeah.
And then you'd be sad.
And if you're looking to dislocate your shoulder, choose McGill Iron Rink. No, I'm kidding, obviously. But if you're looking for a quick hockey game, or just, you know, just to skate with your friends, like on an evening after class or after work.
Or looking to make friends
Yeah.
in our age category,
Yeah.
or not. There's always somebody out there. And just for reference, it is, I don't know if you can tell, but it is right there. So it is always within sight.
Always reminded while at school that you can skate and you should be skating when in Montreal, especially during a brutally cold and sad and long and harsh and dry and snowy and annoying winters.
And beautiful winter. But so yeah, go try out the rinks. Please subscribe, leave a like, and let us know how you like all the rinks in the comments.
Oh, okay. See you on our next video.